Hello, my name is Voya and welcome to My Deep Guide, and in today's video I'm going to be tackling something that I've received quite a few questions and comments and emails and all that kind of stuff, and it has to do with the workflow and what it looks like when you're actually using, for example, Remarkable Paper Pro Move. Because of its different aspect ratio of the screen and smaller format, how does it look like in reality, real world use case scenarios, if you intend to pair it with a bigger device? Almost hit myself in the eye there, close, like the Remarkable 2 or Remarkable 1 or Remarkable Paper Pro. What works well, what doesn't work well, how does it work, and what would be your best workflow to pair these two in the most efficient way possible. Alright, so here I have Remarkable 2 logged into the same account where the Remarkable Paper Pro Move is also logged in. And as you can see, they are synced and they're both on the same Wi-Fi network. I have just created a cross-format workflow notebook, which has synchronized over there. But the important part is that this one has been created on the Remarkable 2. And it will serve to represent the traditional 4:3 type of a screen format that you can see on Remarkable 1, Remarkable 2, and Remarkable Paper Pro. And here we have the 9:16 screen format of the Paper Pro Move. So if I go here and add some entries, we can exit, and I believe it managed to sync. There we go. It has synchronized now here. So if we open it up on the Paper Pro Move, you will see that it actually opens up in a very similar way. And seemingly it's exactly the same. So that is something that's very, very important to kind of figure out because of the infinity length or height of the notebooks and how notebook templates and how notebooks work on the Remarkable platform. That actually allows for the devices to have the same width and adjust the length. What happens if we unlock it and switch it over to a landscape format? Well, it works pretty much the same way. However, the obvious issue is that the scale is much, much smaller. As we've seen, if you turn it over, you will get to see pretty much 1:1 type of a ratio, a little bit bigger than what you have on a regular screen. So let's add some more entries here. And we're going to exit here, exit there, allow them to synchronize. So this guy's synced here as well. And when we open it up, okay, so it went a little bit down, but once you slide up, then we have the same entries that were made from the Remarkable Paper Pro Move. And you can see that they basically correlate 1:1. So the basic workflow in notebooks between these two devices, I think that they've managed to make it work really, really well, mainly thanks to that extended height of the notebook templates and the notebook pages themselves. All right, now I've created a brand new notebook on the Paper Pro Move, and as you can see, it's called Cross-Format Paper Pro Move. I haven't opened it up there yet. So let's exit, allow it to synchronize. Come on. And let's see what we get then on the big format here. So the cross-format compatibility isn't really super spot on, and I don't see what they could have done better considering the limitations between the two. The only other alternative that they would have had was to actually zoom in and explode this to the width, but that would have been ridiculous, and also the template would not have matched between the two devices. I think that the workflow that would work best for me and my needs is actually to have notebooks created on the 4:3 format, so Remarkable 2 or Paper Pro, and then continue working on those notebooks on the Paper Pro Move, because that retains the best type of cross-platform compatibility between the two devices. Because I can always flip this guy to landscape format, and actually when I do this with the Paper Pro Move created notebook, you again get to see the same type of a result. So definitely for me, the preferred workflow would be create notebooks on a larger device, continue working on them on the Paper Pro Move rather than the other way around, because this limitation, once you have it, there's nothing really that you can do about it. All right, so let's check out briefly the documents and how do annotations in documents work and translate between the two. The first thing that I'm going to test out is MDO 2025 or 2026 because we're almost there. It's already available on mydeepguide.com/shop. So here I'm gonna go to daily notes and let's go to a brand new daily notes page and add some entries here. All right, so now that I've done that, I can exit the document, allow it to synchronize. So I'm going to go to the same document here and see if it's synchronized, and it has. And we have the same entries there. And similar to how we use the notebooks, you just flip it to a landscape format, and now I can... One thing that I do notice is that the thickness of the same brush, and this is not a pressure sensitive brush, so it's not down to the pressure sensitivity calibration between the two different pens. It's supposed to be identical, but it's not. You can see that it's a little bit thinner on the Paper Pro Move than the entry that I've made on the Remarkable 2. And yeah, you can definitely see that difference in the line thickness. Okay, so let me just quickly jump back to the notebooks. I can't really see that much of a difference. There might be a small difference because this was made in Remarkable 2, this was made on the Paper Pro Move, but it's nowhere near as noticeable as it is when you go to the document and you check out the page. Yeah, that difference is far more pronounced. So yes, it functions, but you do have some oddities and inconsistencies between the brush thicknesses between the two platforms. All right, so I have the same document actually opened here. We've seen what happens with the annotations, but just for testing, that's just that one. But much more importantly, what I want to test is the highlighter, snapping to text, and I want to see how do all of these different colors translate to a black and white display. So let's try and get, there we go, 3 rows of the blue. Orange, you glad I didn't say banana? Nope. Undo that. For some reason it's struggling a bit more, the marker itself on Paper Pro Move. I've kind of noticed that, and I wonder if it has anything to do with the size. Yeah, than what I'm used to on the same document, because I use this document often to test it. But you can just see like how many attempts it takes for it to... There we go. Okay, maybe it just doesn't like the angle. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe you just go like this. Yeah, it likes that better. All right, so we have all of the colors here. I'm going to exit from the document, allow it to synchronize. There we go, synced. And let's see, yeah, just for tasting. And we can see that the differentiation and the color rendering, that's again that a bit of a problem with the grayscale calibration, how grayscale is rendered on the Remarkable 2 platform. Because basically, yeah, you can see the yellow and the blue, but the difference between purple and orange is extremely negligent. You can't really see much, as it is between the green and the gray. And the whole point is that the gray highlighter is way darker on the Remarkable 2 than it is on the Paper Pro Move. And we virtually have almost no differentiation between the gray, green, orange and the purple one. If you want to do highlighting and use a Remarkable 2 or 1 device and one of the Paper Pro color devices, I would recommend that you stick to yellow and blue highlighter colors, because those are the two that are most easily differentiated on the black and white display. Additionally, I wanted to also address the point of synchronization that maybe they have been, maybe they've done some updates, but what I've noticed in the past couple of weeks, maybe a week or two, since I've been testing these devices a bit more, is that the synchronization is far more reliable, far more stable, and as you've seen in all of these examples, I haven't had a single instance of failed synchronization or anything like that, which is something that I've had consistently on the same account, same device, and same everything for the past couple of months. So I don't know if they've fixed or worked on something, or it just happens to be the case, but it is definitely something that I've noticed. Okay, lastly, I want to test out how the typed content is working between these two. And for that, I'm just going to add a new page to the same notebook that I've created on the Remarkable 2. So that works, and you can normally just readjust all of the formatting here. All right, so we have this example, and this is what it looks like when it's at its widest and in portrait format. So now let's exit and allow it to synchronize so that we can have this. And again, it's synchronized really, really nicely. And we can see that, yeah, the way that this actually works is really good because we have a very nice one-to-one correlation here in portrait and in a landscape mode of the typed content. We do not have a keyboard for the Paper Pro Move. Would it have been nicer to unlock the Bluetooth that's absolutely part of the SoC here and allow to connect any Bluetooth to it and type on this small one? Yeah, it would have been wonderful, but we do not have that option. Well, what you do have as an option is that you can go to the typing tool, and then you can go to, we can see same type of rearranging, and we can go to edit text, and now I can, going to exit, allow it to synchronize. Oh, that actually appeared immediately. And there we go. So overall, cross-compatibility is working well from the large device to the small one. Now let's see what happens to the text content in a notebook that's created on the Paper Pro Move. I'm going to add a page that's going to be a blank one. Let's go to here. There we go. We have the blank one, wide column, and start adding text. I'm getting something very, very strange because I'm just typing normally, but it's now going in width, like it's starting to move the page for the testing portion on the, you can see, there we go. So just like, okay, remarkable. Even without the context of testing cross-compatibility between the different formats, just opening up this and starting to type doesn't really work properly. You would need to zoom out, and we are fit to width. Yeah, I'm fitting to width and the content is not fitting. And regardless of whatever settings that you're using, this shouldn't be the case, because here we have the case of widest not fitting the pages at all, narrow or medium column also not fitting, and only the narrow column actually fitting the pages, which is not something that we've had on a notebook page that was created here. Let's return this to the wide format. Let's synchronize that so that we can see what appears here. Here it appears normally. So that's definitely not a proper way that it should work. The notebook that I've created on the Remarkable 2 and that I typed on is this one. And see how this fits perfectly fine? That is fitting fine because it's fitting with and it's scaled down. So if we were to scale up to 1, then we would get the same behavior. That's a little bit strange because we're using fit to width, right? So it says like, hey, fit to width, but the fit to width is not, taking into consideration the width of the text here. All right, so if that's correct, then I should be able to zoom out to 0.6 on the other one as well, and now it's okay. Basically, if you're going to do typing on the Remarkable Paper Pro Move in the portrait format, you need to be in the scale of 0.6 for the wide format to actually fit the page. And then it actually translates 1:1. Because if we check the other one, which is Cross Format Paper Pro Move, there we go, that fits. And if we put it like this, well, then it fits like this as well. But I will say one thing, the Paper Pro family of devices makes Remarkable 2 look like a super bright white kind of device when it's actually not. It's one of the darker traditional e-ink 227 ppi monochromatic devices, but yeah, when you put them in contrast like this, it just suddenly becomes like, oh, it's so white and nice and crispy because your eyes adapted to this darkness here. Well, all right. So there you go. For most cases, you can actually pair the Remarkable Paper Pro Move quite well with your bigger Remarkable device. Some of the aspects I do understand. For example, notebook created on the Paper Pro Mini, that it has that centered type of content. I honestly don't see how else they could have figured it out, but I do like the workflow of how it handles the notebooks created from the bigger one. Other than that, I think that Remarkable did quite a good job integrating all of this, apart for the text. Yeah, the text notebooks, yeah, the zoom should be automatically fixed. They should default it to 0.6 on the Move. That's all it is to it. And then it'll work correctly. So yeah, definitely it is a device that can quite seamlessly, not perfectly, but quite seamlessly slot its way into your existing Remarkable ecosystem and workflow. Let me know in the comments down below what your thoughts are, and are you using the Remarkable Paper Pro Move to integrate it with your other existing devices? Are you using it solo? And are there any other types of tips and tricks that you would be interested to share that you've discovered when integrating the Remarkable Paper Pro Move into your existing Remarkable workflow and ecosystem? Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed the video. Stay safe, stay healthy, and see you in the next video. Bye!